Listen to that band play.
Oh my God.
Crushing it. You can tell that, last week they had them, but this week they're really happy to be back on those instruments.
This is commonplace. Mm-hmm. The electric guitar, the SG, it's common to them. They know it like the back of their hand.
Yeah, they're just shredding them to pieces, too. It's a wonder to watch.
Last episode was fun. The Zeus.
Yeah, it was great. A wacky one, I think.
Nice follow-up to the Island Volume 1, Island Extravaganza episode, which was a real barn burner. Mm-hmm. If you haven't heard that one, go back.
Yeah, I'd take a listen. It was fun. Come on a journey with us.
Want to say what up to some towns? Taylor, Michigan.
They've been listening like crazy lately.
Mountain View, Cali.
Oof,
Powder
always
Springs.
Strong. Powder Springs, always strong. Ashburn, Virginia, returning to the charts.
We see you. We feel you. Your energy.
We are always watching.
My God, this audience too.
Incredible.
Thanks again for showing up.
Just the best. Welcome back for another exciting edition of the Dinner in Hell podcast, the podcast where two amateur historians talk about the atrocious underbelly of history. I am one of your co-hosts, Brad the Impaler, and with me, as always, Ron Maiden! What's up, man? What are we talking about today?
Dude, I love your Oprah impression. That's awesome. Like, you get a car, you get a car.
We'll have to have the our editing staff put in some air horns. Like, bam, bam.
I'm going to put ladies screaming like you're giving them all free gift baskets. What are we talking about today? We're talking about...
You get a signed headshot of Ron Maiden, and you get a signed headshot of Ron Maiden.
They're like, what the hell? This sucks.
It's like those 90s comedian headshots where like you have like a white shirt on with like the piano tie, and you're making like a funny face.
You're in a wool blazer over your string, your
bolo, fucking bolo.
That straight tie, that thin straight tie. I think of like the blonde-haired guy from Full House. What's his name?
Dave Coulier.
Yeah, like I picture like him with feathered hair. Like, hey.
Yeah, I was thinking of Jim Carrey, like a young Jim Carrey. This is like stand-up days.
Yeah, like Steve Guttenberg. Police Academy. Oh my God, man! I can't wait to talk today. Today we're talking about a priest that was put to death. I'm just kidding.
No, you're not. That's true.
But that's not how I want to deliver it. No, yeah, we as American history,
American.
Yeah, as Americans in our history, we have killed a priest, and today we will discuss that story. Hans Schmidt,
Catholic priest.
Can I just add, wasn't born American.
That's true.
Son of a bitch.
That is true.
He moved onto American soil.
So let's get into this Kraut priest. All right, so Hans Schmidt, in order to talk about him, we need to go back to 1881.
Hell yeah. Rutherford Hayes, baby.
Well, is it Chester A. Arthur?
Wait, do we have his birthday?
No,
that would determine it.
Actually, all I could find was the year, because this is actually a really interesting year for U.S. presidents.
You're saying Arthur because you're omitting another. That was a year we had 3 presidents.
Yeah, if you'll recall, Chester A. Arthur ascended from the vice presidency to the presidency due to the assassination of not Rutherford B. Hayes.
No, because his term ended.
Yes, and he after his term limit, he did not seek re-election. He retired.
Yeah.
And you know who stepped in there, as everybody would know, is James A. Garfield.
And he died because he was shot.
Yeah, he got shot.
Crazy.
He was assassinated.
Again, this is 1881. We don't have his birthday, so we're giving you guys a quick presidential rundown.
Yeah, it could be any of three. It could be any of these three gentlemen would have been president when this guy was born.
Like that even matters, but we just love to show off our freaking knowledge.
Yeah, so we're talking 1881. Hans Schmidt is born in a small town in Bavaria called Aschaffenburg. And this is, we're talking north of the Black Forest, sort of central Germany, down there in Bavaria.
Okay.
And he had a childhood habit that may sound familiar to you. He would pretend
to the common listener,
to the dear constant listener. You may recall Mr. Jim Jones was fond of pretending to be a priest as a kid. This is also true of the future father, Hans Schmidt.
He made a fake cardboard box altar.
I don't know. Well, 1881, I did that. I doubt they had cardboard. They were probably, it was probably like old wood crates, some shit.
Tree trunk.
Yeah. Something, a slab of black stone unearthed and, like given by his satanic father.
1881, they didn't have anything invented yet. They were still doing, no, I'm just kidding. They're just carrying swords still. No, 1881.
Yeah, so he had that peculiar habit that he shared with Mr. Jones. And if you'll recall, Jimbo was a fan of murdering the local pets. Right? He stabbed
Jim
that
Jones?
cat to death?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the thing, Hans Schmidt, he had a quirk too. He had a wacky little childhood quirk where he would spend his days down at the slaughterhouse watching the cows and pigs get, processed and, slaughtered there. He would just hang out there all day, every day.
Normal shit.
Yeah, like any normal kid would do.
Who hasn't stabbed a pet to death once in their life as like a holiday prank?
Or just, packed a lunch and gone and sat down and watched the local slaughterhouse. Yeah, sounds like normal childhood shit.
I go down to the halal places and watch them just poke lamb throats. That's what I do whenever I get a free evening.
Yeah, jeez.
Go to Hamtramck, watch them friggin' face that friggin' sheep towards the east, and they friggin' it's like that's hey. I get bored, so that's entertainment.
My main experience with seeing butchery is usually deer.
Oh, ripping from his anus all the way to his goddamn is this your clavicle? No, this is your clavicle. Sternum. From anus to sternum.
Yeah.
What's this? Mandible? Okay, clavicle, mandible, sternum. Pointing at body parts here. Use your imagination. So, what's his name? Hans
Schmidt.
So Hans would spend his childhood days hanging out around the local slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
It's awful slaughterhouses. You can look up on YouTube. I mean, you've probably seen them already in social media. People posting like, this is what happens, you guys. Show freaking cows hanging by hooks and shit, just wiggling around. This guy's watching animals die.
Yeah,
for fun.
If you have any vegan friends, you've probably already seen these videos.
Yeah, glass walls. I think Paul McCartney made a video called Glass Walls or something. Woo! Woo! Huh.
Yeah, or like you can
Food Inc.
Now you can see a lot of these drone videos where they'll fly up over these like pig farms and there's just like this like huge giant vat of like blood and shit that's like a football field sized fucking cesspool.
And when it's windy out and shit, like the pig shit piss storm carries into the community.
Yeah, people lose their fucking minds like that. Like everything stinks like death all the time.
If you live in a community near a friggin' pig farm or something, let us know what it's like. We'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, we could probably do a whole episode on just like pig farming throughout history.
I gotta admit, if I love pork.
Fucking, I do too. I can't stop.
I'm a pork guy.
I got my fingers crossed for lab-grown meat. That's the future that I want.
Okay.
Because like people often bitch about vegans, right?
Okay.
They're like, oh, fucking vegan. Like they'll tell jokes like, how do you know if someone's a vegan?
Oh,
like
because
it doesn't matter. They're gonna tell you. Just wait 10 seconds. They'll tell you.
I don't think people are like. I mean, people like to make fun of them.
Yeah, but the reason they like to make fun of them is because vegans are right.
Right.
I fucking
look at our teeth.
Yeah,
it's not like we got canine teeth like dogs and shit.
Yeah, like we didn't evolve to have claws like all obligate carnivores do.
Yeah.
I'm saying this as a total hypocrite.
Yeah.
I eat the fuck out of meat. I do it all day and night. I can't stop. I can't stop.
I would love to stop. I would love to stop. There's
I'm
just
like
not
hardcore
enough,
addicted.
There's just not enough other good shit to make me stop with the ribs and the fucking.
I have to have it. It's like a physical need, and I have a very weak will, so it's just not I need meat, and I need it grown in a lab, so animals don't have to suffer for it.
You try smoking a whole cauliflower.
That's why people bitch about arguing with them so much, and why people like to flaunt like bacon in their face for some reason is because deep down, they're just afraid of confronting their own hypocrisy.
I was at a Kroger in Dearborn, Michigan, which is like the largest Arab community in America, Dearborn, Michigan, and I was at a Kroger, and they had fried bacon, and the smell of fried bacon just wallowed through the whole store. And there's like all these women with like hijabs on, and like freaking everyone's like Muslim in there except the staff.
Yeah, and they used to do
and just bacon wafts throughout the place like
they used to do that
poison gas
all the time too. And we're talking about also deeply within East Dearborn, the specific neighborhood where all the Muslim immigrants live. Or that's not exactly accurate. I should say Arab immigrants. But most of them are Muslim. There's a lot of Christians too, though.
Smell of bacon goes throughout the store. It's awful because we're talking about pig slaughterhouses and how good pork is. Okay.
Back on track. So the next thing we really hear about Hans is in 1906, when your boy Hans is 25 years old, he makes his way not far, but to the nearby town of Mainz in Germany. And it's there that he is ordained a Roman Catholic priest.
Nice.
Yeah, so 1906, where's that put us? Teddy?
1906, we're talking American presidents?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Teddy Roosevelt.
Teddy, all right.
Mainz, Germany. I like to use the French pronunciation, Mainz.
Like Jimbo in the other episode, he gets his ordination. The childhood priest becomes the grown-up priest. And he tries to work locally, right there in Germany. But boy, oh boy, he has a penchant for starting big fucking problems everywhere he goes. Basically, everyone this guy meets hates him.
Why?
He's just a dick, I think. Or he's creepy, too.
You gotta imagine a guy that spent his childhood around slaughterhouses is gonna grow up to be some kind of person.
Yeah, probably doesn't have a ton of experience, like, communicating with and getting along with other people. So, basically, everywhere this dude goes, everybody just hates him, man. That's pretty much it.
So when he was ordained Roman Catholic priest, do you think he did it like by online? Like didn't even meet him because who would give him like a priesthood if they met him? Because it seems like everyone hates his ass.
Well, I think if you kind of just stay, maybe in the seminary, like you stay shut up, and you do what you're told, you probably get through. It was probably afterwards when he didn't have to really bow to anybody anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there were big problems all over the place, and people started accusing him of shit too here and there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. For example, when he was working, there were disappearances that were unsolved in Germany during the periods where he was around. That he was sort of, the police were interested in talking to him about.
He was connected to the people.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Like, bang bang, like 1800s, like Law and Order.
Dun, 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 dun. Is that it?
Yeah.
Do, 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 do.
Guitar solo. You might just drop the theme song into the show. Yeah, so, through a combination of him probably wanting to get out of there because it seemed like a net was closing around him and the fact that everybody fucking hated him anyway, it seemed like it was pretty easy for him to get himself relocated, reassigned. And 1908, 2 years after he got his ordination in the church, he moved to the United States of America, where he was assigned to St. John's Parish in Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville? How do you...
Louisville.
Louisville?
Yeah,
Is that the correct
Louisville.
pronunciation?
If you're from Michigan, you call it Louisville.
Yeah, I would have said Louisville.
But if you're from Louisville, you're like, what'd you call it? What'd you say it was? Say it again.
Louisville?
Why are you saying that?
Louisville?
It's Louisville.
Louisville.
Kentucky.
Uvula.
Louisville, Kentucky is, I think, is what the locals call it. Kentucky.
Louisville, Kentucky.
Kentucky. Yes.
Goddamn.
So he's at St. John's Parish, Louisville, Kentucky.
And same problem. This problem is going to haunt him. Everybody there fucking hates him. And during his time there, a 9-year-old girl goes missing.
Okay. Just keep that in the back of your mind, listeners.
Yeah. There's no suspicion on him at the time, but he's there when it happened, so it's probably something that's, we should note.
Yeah. Just a little detail you might want to, like in a movie, they just flash it. Don't forget it.
We've talked about a book that relates to this a lot on the show before.
Yes.
Yeah, but he's a dick there too, and everybody hates him. So on top of that, and him probably thinking maybe it was time to move on, he is shipped over to Manhattan in New York City. Almost immediately. He's barely at the Louisville Parish for any time at all.
Okay. That's good.
And this parish was St. Boniface. And it was on the east side of Midtown Manhattan. So ritzy, I think. I think it's the east side of Midtown's ritzy.
I just want to say what's up to all our St. Boniface worshipers out there listening.
All the altar boys, all the rectors, all the deacons.
Yeah, I know you're out there. You go there every Sunday. You listen to our show as well. It's great.
Yeah, so he wasn't the only new face bopping around St. Boniface there. There was a young Austrian woman whom they'd recently hired to help, be a housekeeper at the rectory. Rectories where the priest lives in a Catholic parish system. Her name was Anna Aumüller. And it was hard to find a ton of information about her directly, but we do know she was, younger than 30. We know that much. We have a photograph of her, and she's pretty cute.
Nice one, Hans. Co-worker. Co-worker.
Yeah, so Hans and Anna strike up an affair.
Wait a second. Hold his phone. He's a priest, right?
He's a Catholic priest. So that means, in case you listeners are not familiar with how the rules for Catholic priests, you're never allowed to have any sort of sexual activity ever in any way.
Right.
Yeah, so big no-no. Love affair can't happen. Way against the rules. They're supposed to be completely celibate. So he's already clearly a renegade. And not fucking allowed. Yeah, you're not allowed to do that. But because of that, it is possible that one of the reasons that caused him to be removed from St. Boniface was that the local Catholic authorities became aware of their affair. So, he was pretty quickly removed from St. Boniface. And it's one of the reasons could be that the local Catholic authorities in New York City found out that he was, getting freaky in the rectory with the housekeeper. Because, there's a few documentaries that are pretty interesting about how the Catholic Church takes priests who are guilty of terrible things, and instead of in any way allowing them to face consequences for that, just shifts them around to different parishes.
That happens.
Yeah, I believe there's a really good one called See No Evil. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I will put forgive me for temptation or something like that. I'll put it in the show notes. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it'll be in there. It's a good documentary about their child abuse scandal that's recent.
Okay.
But this just goes to show that shit was going on fucking 100 years ago, too. They were getting in trouble, but instead of having to deal with it, they just move them.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of fucked up. So they may have discovered his affair, and that may have caused them, to be moved, or it could be just his traditional pattern of making fucking everybody hate him and be afraid of him everywhere he went. Either way, he was transferred to a church in West Harlem, St. Joseph's.
What up, St. Joe's?
Yeah, represent. If it was in fact an effort to stop the two young lovers' passionate affair, they failed. These two continued to keep right on trucking, despite the distance that was put between them. Being in the same city with the most public transport probably in the world, definitely in the country, keeping them in the same city to separate them. Fuck is that gonna do?
So they had a sexual relationship while she was working in the rectory.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind. I was gonna try to make a rectory pun. I was just gonna be like, it's not every day you find a woman that's down with having sex in the rectory.
Yeah, and the traditional thing about servants is that they generally use the back door.
Yeah, they usually there's a staff entrance, right?
Yeah. Always in the rear. And in a double whammy of shit you're not allowed to do if you're a Catholic priest, he got married to Miss Anna
Aumüller.
And he performed the marriage himself in secret.
Aumüller.
Mueller.
Yeah, Aumüller.
I just didn't feel like looking up how to type a U with a umlaut.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Aumüller.
So it's a double whammy. You can't have intercourse and you can't have a marriage. Come on.
Correctamundo. Priest's not supposed to get married.
Once you're ordained, you freaking give up that. You make a freaking promise, young man.
Yeah, you gay marry Jesus.
That's right. Bromance for life.
Yeah, and this marriage occurred in secret ceremony on February 26, 1913. And William Howard Taft, I think, when that would have been.
1913, yeah, that would be Taft.
And contemporaries, of course, hotly debated whether or not this marriage was actually legal. People are like, well, it's a marriage conducted by a priest, so it counts. Other people are like, fuck you talking about, weirdo? Of course it doesn't count. But there was some controversy over the nature of their marriage afterwards.
I would say it would make it null, right? I mean, the fact that he's not allowed? Or
yeah, I'd probably agree with you.
Maybe on a state level he was married, but not according to the church? I don't know.
Yeah, some weird conglomeration of that. But there's so much worse stuff going on with him.
Mm-hmm.
So he figured he'd be able to just keep the whole thing under wraps, until the leading cause of death for mistresses strikes. A pregnancy.
A ruh-roh.
Yeah. So, Father Schmidt learns of the pregnancy. She tells him about it on September 2nd of 1913. And, this is going to be a shock for anybody. Unplanned pregnancy, there's all kinds of ways you could deal with that information. And how Father Schmidt processed it, thinking that surely this would be the end of his, career, and all of his stuff would come to an end. What he decided to do was, in an apartment that he rented for her, he paid for it in Manhattan and gave it to her. After she had fallen asleep, he snuck in and slit her throat.
Oh, God damn it. A priest?
Yeah, with a 12-inch butcher knife.
Okay. All done.
Yeah.
Dispose of body, right? That's it?
Well, the way he disposed of it was to first cut off her head with a hacksaw.
Okay.
Then to remove each of her limbs and cut those in half.
Okay.
And then after that was done, he cut her torso in half horizontally as well.
Long ways? No.
Like
okay,
across.
Yeah.
Like across
like the
your
horizon.
stomach, yeah.
Got to picture the horizon. Horizontal, get it?
No, I never thought of that, but that's a great way to remember. That's a good pneumatic device. Mnemonic, not pneumatic. Fuck am I doing?
Nomadic. Like a nomad.
Mnemonic. Like Johnny Mnemonic. It starts with an M.
I was nomadically speaking, though.
Nomadic.
Yeah, like a druid.
Well, thematically, I understood.
Well, mathematically, you better freaking count on carrying on.
Well, so...
Dramatically read it.
Yeah, so he basically just, put his old... later on, Jim Jones' cat stabbing murderous instincts came back out. Later on, fucking Hansi's butchery slaughterhouse childhood instincts comes back.
He's like, oh, you're pregnant? I know just the trick. Slice the throat, hack you up, dispose. Solved.
Yeah, now, when you were a kid, what did you play? Like when you were playing, what was your favorite thing? Like what were you into?
Torture. We used to play torture all the time.
Yeah, I used to
play POW all the time.
I used to play prison labor camp.
Yeah.
Where I would, take all my stuffed animals and force them to like break rocks all day.
We played guns, man.
And I got to tell you, I don't have a prison camp today. It hasn't come back yet.
You asked me what I played when I was a kid. I played guns. We played guns all the time, right? Is that what you're trying to ask me?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that what you wanted me to say?
Well, I was just saying, like, what...
Normal shit.
Yeah, what...
Little boy shit.
What would have...
Little men.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, if we go bad, what's going to come... How are we going to go bad? What's our childhood hang up or whatever that we got stuck on? Just like, Jimbo and Hansi here.
I don't want to say it right now in this medium.
Well, anyway, he wasn't done after he cut him to pieces. What he did next was then to wrap all of the body parts in newspaper. Again, probably picking that shit up from his slaughterhouse watching.
Yeah, this is how you wrap it, pork chap.
Yeah. So he's got a bunch of body parts in paper. And what he then does is he takes those and he puts them in Anna's pillowcases. Takes the pillows out, fills up the pillowcases with body parts and rocks that he finds outside. And then he walks down and chucks them into the Hudson River.
I'm thinking it's probably 4 pillowcases. I can't imagine an adult person being fitting into 2 pillowcases.
We know that there was one for the head. We know that the upper and lower body were separate.
Okay.
So I don't think all the limbs would have fit into one. Okay, so there has to be at least 5. 4 or 5. Okay. Yeah. Because they also had to be weighed down. They were weighed down with rocks before they were tied shut.
Like the serial killer brain in me is trying to solve these problems.
Yeah.
I'm trying to problem solve here. As a serial killer, trying to put myself there.
Yeah, like Will from Hannibal.
Yeah.
Where he can get in the mind of them.
That's right.
Yeah, and then he throws all of them into the East River. All the body parts and the pillowcases. And he thinks they'll sink. But... Right. They don't sink.
Not all of them.
Yeah, September 4th, 2 days later, two little kids playing on the beach in New Jersey, on the New Jersey side, the Hudson River. They are walking down the beach where they find the upper torso of a woman.
Gross.
Yeah, like everybody remembers like Stand By Me as like a cute movie, but I think if I found a dead body, it would be way more fucked up in real life.
I think Boys in the Hood, they roll up on a dead body.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
You want to see a dead body?
That shit's fucked up.
Yeah, Compton.
Yeah, seeing dead bodies in real life is weird and very unpleasant.
I've seen a man die, but I've never seen a dead body. I never like discovered a dead body, but I've seen a man die.
It sucks.
My brother's discovered dead bodies. He's a mailman, so he's like, the big door's been open for like 4 days. Flies all over the screen door. Yeah, there's someone in the chair there. Fucking died. It's crazy.
Yeah, that sucks. I'm hoping they conquer death while I'm still alive. I don't ever want to have to do that. But we'll see. Come on, science. Yay.
You want to live forever?
Fuck yes, I do.
What the fuck? Oh, wow, I disagree.
How will I ever get to see the establishment of the workers' paradise? Because I don't think it's happening in my lifetime. I'm holding out for a better world. But that's probably too real.
I respect your spirit.
Yeah, 3 miles further down the river, they found her lower torso. More people just kind of wandering around. Like, I think that might even be worse. That might be worse than finding, like, a whole dead body would be finding parts of a dead body.
See the inside of it? Yeah. As well as the outer skin. Like, ugh.
Yeah, like, I mean, if you find, like, a skeleton or whatever, that's one thing. But, like, a fresh one? God, that's got to be so horrifying.
So, didn't they freaking track this guy, the location of the body, back by where the rocks were actually from, like the geographic location? You said it was discovered in New Jersey.
Amongst other things, Hans Schmidt was a dog shit murderer. He was terrible at it. He made a series of very, very big mistakes. Like, for example, the rocks he used were called... the fuck was it?
Schist.
Or is it schist?
Schist.
Yeah. The rocks that he used were called schist. And schist is extremely common on Manhattan.
Yeah.
And extremely rare in New Jersey.
Oh.
Yeah, so even you might have thought he caught a break because it was discovered in New Jersey. The New Jersey authorities might be investigating only within New Jersey. But no, they're like, this is fucking schist. Obviously, this came from Manhattan. So immediately the evidence wound up in the hands of New York City homicide detectives.
Freaking like 1906 cop. Like, no, this is schist, see?
Yeah.
Like, they just happen to have knowledge of the freaking geology of the region. This is straight up 100% schist. And you're in Jersey.
Like,
where are you? Think about it. Where are you right now? Jersey, right? You ever see schist around?
It'd probably be like everybody's like Bill the Butcher from Gangs of New York.
Dude's got like a hat that's like smooth, the cop. Like, all right. He just has a billy club, no gun.
Yeah, handlebar mustache.
Beat your head in.
A penny farthing.
We're going to find where these rocks came from. God damn it.
Yeah, like every police officer is named like O'Sullivan.
Yeah.
He's like Sean Kieran O'Sullivan is every police officer's name.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Those are probably the cops that were in on this.
And there was another huge clue. That's how they tracked it back to Hans, correct?
Yeah, the pillowcases that he put the bodies in were custom made specifically for Anna Aumüller. They had like very custom, unique A's on them. And anybody who knew anything about embroidery, I guess, knew that this one shop was the only one that did this incredible work. So the second anybody took a look at these pillowcases, they were like, "Oh, go see fucking like embroidery superstore down on East 42nd Street or whatever."
Yeah.
So as soon as they had their hands on the evidence, they had a lead. And then as soon as they got to the lead, evidently this business kept like fucking exquisite records.
Okay.
So they were just like, oh, these A's, hold on a second, like boom, boom, boom. All right, yeah, those A's were made for Anna Aumüller. Here's her address. So basically, within 2 days, the cops were already at the scene of the crime.
I would picture it like go down like this because you would think A would be a pretty common pillowcase. But I picture them giving them like 6 people that got that A. And then they went to each 6 and Anna's was like one of them. And that was like Clarice. Can I come in for a second? You know?
Yeah. Is Anna Aumüller there?
Like, I picture it being like that, like they narrow it
She
down.
used to live here.
I picture them like they narrow it down that way.
Yeah, but in this case, it was, everything was completely custom. So it was one of a kind. It wasn't even that hard. They instantly got the answer. So they just went straight over to the apartment. This is all 2 days after the murder occurred.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, yeah, that good old Anna bought those. Here's her address. Boom. Mm-hmm. So they go there, and he hadn't...
It was immaculate. Perfect. Perfection. Spotless.
No, we're talking about the failure shitty serial killer here. So all he had gotten through was cleaning up the instruments. So like the knife and the saw were clean and like hidden away in a trunk. And like some of the clothes were dealt with, but there was basically still blood all over the place. It looked like his childhood fantasy slaughterhouse, like it fucking was. Mm-hmm. So the cops were like, what the fuck? So they're searching this place where it's obvious that she was murdered.
They probably didn't have like plastic sheeting like Dexter.
No. Or like like high grade fucking scientific cleaning shit like we have now.
A lake of blood. All the blood from in a body.
Yeah, all the blood from a person
is all over the place.
Spread over this apartment.
Floor and
like soaked into the mattress.
Yeah,
and
if
shit
it was
like
a
that.
bed, yeah.
Fucking, it's a horror. If you ever seen crime scene photos, you can imagine exactly what this looks like.
Just imagine a white room covered in blood. That's all you need to do.
Yeah. With like old fashioned, really ornate furniture, and you're probably pretty dead on. Manhattan apartment too, so it's small.
Like a wall, like heater unit. Like that broiler kind of thing, radiator. Yeah. Over in a cider, steam heating.
Yeah. Also, inside that apartment, inside Aumüller's apartment, they found letters addressed to Anna that discussed Hans and his employment at St. Joseph's. So they got that implication that he was involved. And also, when they got to the apartment building, when they talked to the landlord was immediately like, "Oh yeah, Hans Schmidt rented this for a female relative." They're like undercover, so like boom, they know Hans Schmidt is actually like he probably has access to the apartment because he's the one who rented it. So they're like, "All right, now this is probably like 20 minutes into our 1913 Law and Order SVU episode."
Right.
So this is when like the detectives are done having their witty banter at the station, and they make their way over to St. Joseph's to have a little chat with the suspect now.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but they don't have any evidence that he's done anything. They just have that's just the only other name that's popping up in any of the evidence.
Well, we'll just go over and see if we can have a little chit chat with this priest over here. That's what they're doing? We just want to have a few little questions for you, sir.
Yeah, this is Officer Killarney.
Right?
Oh, Father Hans Schmidt. Oh, you good Catholic lad. Yeah, I'm sure that was the like police officer. So, yeah, they're like, all right, so we got this Hans dude's name. Let's go over here. We'll have a talk with him. So they roll over there, and they're basically like, what is your relationship to Anna Aumüller? Like, she was discovered. Like, we found this body. The apartment's bloody. And he's basically just buckles and was like, I did it. He confessed to the murder within, like, 10 minutes.
Simple.
Yeah.
Quick and easy. So they executed him right there on the spot?
No, we're talking about 1913. Well, so he didn't seem like he was like crying or nervous or like he broke down from them like harassing him or anything. It just seemed like another example of his weird incompetence as a murderer.
He sucked all around. He sucked at being a priest, I heard. He was one of the worst priests ever.
Yeah, he probably couldn't remember like the Latin right, so he was just making shit up, and like some people would notice it, but
they always made him do like the late masses.
Yeah, he was the one who got like Friday night. He didn't have like the Sunday 8 a.m. superstar.
Right.
Yeah, he wasn't that guy.
Yeah.
But one of his quotes from his confession is, "I loved her. Sacrifices should be consummated in blood."
Shit.
That's some cold-blooded shit, man.
That's like Ozzy Osbourne type shit.
Yeah, like, what do you think that dude's homilies were like? It's like, Jesus Christ is a paragon of love and virtue. Also, we should probably be bathing in, like, the blood of our enemies.
Or our lovers.
Yeah. Don't forget, when you love something, murder it. That's what Jesus would do.
Yeah.
And his guilt was never in question after that, after he confessed pretty much immediately. So, how did he defend himself at trial, you may ask?
He's like innocent.
Yeah,
Wasn't
because he's insane.
Oh.
Yeah, nobody ever tried to say he didn't do it. He definitely did it. Everybody knew. Even at trial, his defense were like, yeah, he totally fucking did it, but it's not his fault because he's insane.
We're not saying whether he did or didn't here. We're just saying whether he was in the right state of mind.
Yeah.
Wow.
And also, you know, people like to think of this like reality TV kind of shitty tabloid culture as a largely modern phenomenon, but there's a lot of evidence of it occurring in this case. I mean, think about how bombastic this would be today if there were an American Catholic priest that was on trial for murdering and then dismembering his mistress / maybe wife.
Man.
Yeah, isn't that fucked up? Like, that would be... imagine Nancy Grace talking about that bullshit. It'd be like fucking like Casey Anthony or Scott Peterson or whatever all over again.
Yeah.
Now, what you're trying to say here is that the priest, there's evidence that he used to read the newspaper. You say you sold him newspapers at least once a week on the newsstand, and the bodies are found wrapped in newspaper. I just don't think that's a coincidence.
I'm telling you, I just lost time. I blacked out. I don't remember anything after arriving at the apartment. I'm a priest. You have to listen to me. You know, just like chew them out like right there on TV.
Yeah. They argued that he was overcome by bloodlust, whatever the hell that means.
That means where you are so in love that you want to cover yourself in their blood, man. Like, you gotta know that.
Yeah, well, that's true. Who hasn't felt like that, you know, from time to time?
Who hasn't celebrated Valentine's Day, you know?
Everybody loves it.
Big cover yourself in blood holiday. You can get blood at the butcher shop.
Yeah, you can.
You do that, right? The Valentine's blood bath? Everyone does that around here.
Yes. For the fear of what will happen if I say no. Yes, everyone has done that, and I am very familiar with the tradition. Well, here's the thing about this insanity defense, though. It worked. In this trial, they got a hung jury. It was 10-2 guilty. 2 people were like, no, he didn't do it. It's not his fault because he's insane.
Oh, really?
Yeah, bloodlust is a real thing to me, and he shouldn't go to prison because of it. 2 people believe that.
It's not so bad.
Yeah, and because of that, they got a hung jury. But it sounds outrageous to you. Sounds outrageous to me. It also sounded outrageous then. They couldn't believe that there were 2 motherfuckers who thought that he didn't deserve to pay for this crime. So the state announced hours later that it would immediately retry him again for the same crime. People think you can't be tried twice for the same crime. That's only if you're acquitted. You can never be tried for that crime again. So, like, for example, like, if I robbed a bank and I got tried for it, and they were like, "You're innocent. The jury acquits you of this crime." I could write a book the next day that says, "This is how I robbed PNC Bank on October 22nd," and I could completely confess everything, and there's not a fucking thing they could do about it.
So let's say you could be charged with murdering your ex-wife and her boyfriend. Let's say he's a waiter. You could be charged,
also a karate enthusiast.
let's say you're charged for killing those two. And
Yes.
then you're acquitted.
This is totally hypothetical, right?
And then you're acquitted. You could then come out with a book that was called "If I Did It, This Is How I Would Have Did It."
Yes.
Okay. Little OJ history for you, OJ Simpson case.
That fucking...
You pretty much spelled it out exactly. I was like, man, this sounds just like OJ.
Yeah, that fucking show that they had with like David Schwimmer as Rob Kardashian.
I heard it was good.
It was really good.
Yeah.
We watched it in like 2 days. We
Yeah.
watched it for like 5 hours a day when we finally got a hold of it. It was awesome.
So I asked Brad earlier about bloodlust cases, and that actually came up. But Brad came back with what? He never used that as his defense.
Yeah,
He said he never did it.
Yeah, he always said he was innocent.
This guy said he did it, but it was bloodlust.
Yeah.
So OJ killing Nicole was not bloodlust. He didn't do it.
Yeah, he didn't do it.
Right.
He'll never rest until he finds who's responsible. Do you remember that bullshit when he was
Oh,
on
yeah.
TV saying that?
He's
It
still
was like,
looking.
oh my god.
Yeah, I ran into him one day.
Yeah.
It was like the airport.
Juice?
Yeah, it was at the airport. I'm like, Juice. He's like, hey, man. I'm like, can I get a picture? He's like, no problem. He's like, hey, man, if you ever get any leads on whoever the motherfuckers killed Nicole, please let me know via Twitter. I'm like, all right, man, I got you.
He handed you like a flyer.
He's like, I'm still looking, man, believe it or not. He's like, stay up, dog.
Juice.
Sign my football and we're good.
Yeah, so they definitely did too. They did kick it off, and they tried him again, and this time there was way less sympathy for him. The judge was less sympathetic. He says to the jury, if you are satisfied that the defendant purchased the knife and saw with which he cut up the body, thinking of using them as he did, and if you are satisfied that in the middle of the night he went to the flat, took off his coat and cut her throat, and then cut up her body, what conclusion do you come to? Use your common sense, your experience with men. Bear in mind, it isn't every form of mental unsoundness that excuses a crime. So the judge is basically saying, like, don't fuck around. Like, this is, like, it has to be real strict and be mental illness to disqualify you from responsibility.
What else did he bring the hacksaw into the home?
Yeah.
You know, was he going to do woodworking with it?
Yeah, he knew it was happening beforehand because he brought it there.
Right.
And the jury agreed, and they convicted him of first-degree murder, and he's shipped off to the death row at Sing Sing.
Sing Sing prison, that's home to some legends.
Yep. We'll get to those probably right before we wrap it up, you think?
Yeah.
Sounds good. So he's on the death row at Sing Sing. Like any death penalty case, they've got a lot of appeals that they need to go through. So he did that, and none of the appellate judges had any fucking sympathy for his ass either. And eventually it was time to, walk that last mile. And that occurred on February 18th, 1916. When he was electrocuted to death in Sing Sing's famous electric chair, Old Sparky. Pretty fucked up that it had... Even if, like, you're like, yeah, sometimes we need to execute criminals, like, it's still fucked up that it has a cute name.
Yeah. Like Miami's prison, how they put people to death by shark. That shark that they have there, that they feed the prisoners to.
Yeah, the one they named, like, Tickles or something like that. It's disgusting.
His name's Flipper. Like, come on. You can't really name a shark Flipper that eats prisoners.
Yeah, it's got to be treated seriously, and it's a solemn thing.
Or frickin', what was it, Louisiana's prison with the gator. What do they name him? Bumpy? Something like that? Grumpy?
Yeah, I have heard, though, Florida is...
Gator by death by gator at their prison?
Yeah, Florida, I've heard that they're looking to make some changes, though. and they're gonna reform it, and they're gonna go with the skunk ape, the cryptozoological creature. That's basically like a smelly Bigfoot is going to be doing the executions from now on.
I thought that was like Maine is using an actual Bigfoot. I'm pretty sure in the UP in Michigan, the prison up there, their death row, they use a Wolverine. They tie you down and a Wolverine kills you.
Yeah, there's a lot of problems with capital punishment in this country.
His name is Flopsy.
Flopsy. Yeah, so that's it. Hans Schmidt, dead. Sent, riding the lightning, as James Hetfield would say. But that's not the absolute end of the story. More shit comes to light after his death. Because of that, like, Nancy Grace, like, tabloid coverage of not only the initial case, but of his trial, too. Investigators kept digging even after he died. And even more shit came out. First, and perhaps most wacky, he had a second secret apartment that they were able to uncover. The first one he stashed Anna Aumüller in. Yeah. And the second one, he had a counterfeiting operation.
Nice.
Yeah, churning out $10 bills. Nice. And in 1916, a $10 had as much buying power as about $240 has now.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so the dude was like counterfeiting huge sums of money, probably.
Nice. This dude. I'm just kidding. This guy's an asshole. He deserves to die.
Yeah, in addition to this, in the second secret apartment, they did find detailed plans that were colluding with a local dentist on how to murder a bunch of people and commit life insurance fraud to collect money to profit off of the murders. Now, that seems like a simple plan, though, so I'm wondering why they had to, write out enough that would be evidence against them in this.
And, okay.
Step 1, collect homeless person. Step 2, bash them with something heavy. Why would they need to write this shit down? It's so stupid.
The same mind that had the idea of doing the life insurance scam for money was also the same mind that, left the crime scene of a room covered in blood. That same person did both thoughts. You think one wouldn't be smart enough to do the fucking insurance scam?
Yeah, well, there were only plans, so that might be because he was too dumb to make it happen. That might be why he had to write it all out so explicitly, too.
Yeah.
Fucking, doofus, submental.
After all this whole shit, the story of Hans, they discover something at his place he used to be the priest at.
Oh, yeah. Back in Louisville, if you'll recall, we mentioned a little 9-year-old girl went missing while he was briefly the pastor there.
Yeah, I recall.
Well, afterwards, they found her in the basement of St. John's Parish, where he was the pastor of when she disappeared.
Imagine that.
And she was dismembered. Dismembered in exactly the same way as Anna Aumüller.
Whoa.
Yeah, torso in half the same way, limbs in half, head separated.
We should freaking write this movie, dude. And that's how they discover I'm sorry. The body of the 9-year-old was discovered and it was blamed on the janitor for the whole time. This janitor was paying the price for it.
This is the last 10 minutes. This is the last 10 minutes, the post-trial 10 minutes of the Law & Order SVU episode that we're doing here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is when they're trying to get the guy that was wrongly imprisoned for it out. Things that cops never fucking do.
So this is how we do it. We're going to write this movie, okay? It opens up. They discover the body of a kid in the basement of a church. All eyes lead towards who? The janitor. He's like, I didn't do it, I swear. And you're like, why'd you cut her up? Why'd you cut her up into these many pieces? And the whole movie, they're trying to put it together. What? And then they find the body of that girl cut the same way later by the priest. And the detective that was on the case back at Louisville, that detective who had transferred to the new place, he's like, wait a second, I remember a case where a girl, ding dong. All of a sudden, that's how the movie unfolds, and it's like,
Yeah, this is a great idea too, because
let's buy it, write it.
Yeah, Dinner in Hell trademark. Don't steal us.
We own that.
The other thing, too, is we could make it like the janitor, like a Sling Blade type scenario. So we can get somebody to play like a mental deficient so they can win an Oscar.
He can't, like, really get his thoughts out.
Yeah, Dinner in Hell. Coming for your motherfucking Oscars now, bitch. What's up?
What'd you say? I did it? I didn't. You said I did it. He said it.
Yeah, like who could play it? Like JGL? Like Joseph Gordon-Levitt. That's who I want.
By the way,
Plays
this is like 1916 and shit, so it's like there's no cell phones. We get out of the whole cell phone thing. You know, that's how you make movies now. You base it in eras without cell phones.
Yeah, because cell phones like
solve movies.
Would solve every horror movie instantaneously.
Why don't we just go in the running car? Are you crazy?
Just call the police. They'll be here in 10 minutes. Somehow my phone doesn't work. Well, on top of that, authorities in Germany, too, they had found more concrete evidence that implicated Hans Schmidt in murders there. They just never got a chance to question him before he got executed by the Americans. So we're talking Hans Schmidt, serial killer, serial dismemberer.
Frickin' first and only, I think, priest, right? In American history, electrocuted, killed, put to death.
Only Catholic priest ever executed in America.
You Satanist priests out there, watch your back. We're just talking Catholic. Don't think they won't kill you satanic priests.
Satanists are fine. They don't do anything wrong.
Well, I'm just saying. Frickin' Sing Sing prison, when I was saying that there were some legends that went to that place, you've heard of David Berkowitz, right?
Son of Sam.
Yeah, that dude was in Sing Sing prison, the same place as this dude. And
yeah, the dog was telling me to kill people.
And there's another one I wanted to tell you about that I'm sure you've heard of. Albert Fish is like one of the first serial killers.
Oh, Albert Fish will definitely receive his own episode of this program. How deep have you dived into the fish hole?
I don't know shit about fish. I heard of Berkowitz.
Albert Fish. Whew. There's some really, really twisted stuff about that guy. He
killed children, I know that.
He did. But his personal stuff is even better. He had a paddle that he had driven through with like nails and stuff, like sharp nails.
What do you mean by better? That's even better.
More interesting.
Okay. Even worse.
He used to make his own kids beat his ass with this wooden paddle with exposed sharp nails on the end of it.
Oh my God.
He used to shove pins inside himself.
His privates? But Albert Fish, didn't you say that he like ate a girl and sent detailed letters about it?
Yeah, to her parents.
Her mom and
How
stuff.
fucking twisted is that shit?
Albert Fish. Sing Sing prison.
That's Sing Sing. You think it would be like West Side Story, like Jets versus Sharks type scenario? Sing. Like they'd be like all the prisoners would be like doing a coordinated dance as they like move the laundry carts and shit. But somehow I doubt that in reality.
Mops dancing?
Yeah, like I'm thinking like in my head it kind of looks like Jailhouse Rock, like Elvis.
So do you think since we've done an H.H. Holmes and like a Bathory, like do you think we'll ever do like an Albert Fish show?
Yeah, I think
Berkowitz show.
Getting them. Maybe Berkowitz.
Yeah.
Fish definitely. Fish is a little bit more historical.
Yeah.
Berkowitz was like late 70s. Same as Jim Jones, I guess, though. So probably. Coming 2027. Episode fucking 648.
Yeah.
David Berkowitz.
Sweet. This freaking band.
They sound incredible. Excellent.
Audience is great.
Oh, they were charming. It was a pleasure to do it, as always. We love the home audience. Thank you for joining us.
Good to be here again.
Yeah, if you want to get in touch with us, any topics you want to hear, you want to call me an asshole for something, you can hit us up on Twitter at Dinner and Hell Pod. We are on Facebook, SoundCloud, YouTube. Please don't forget to rate and subscribe on iTunes. That shit helps us out a ton. We're at dinnerandhell.com. You can email us at dinnerandhellpodcast@gmail.com. We love you. Thank you and good night.
Thank you.